Ison, Nibiru in the book of Enoch. Enoch, there are two men named Enoch in the Bible. One was the firstborn to Cain in Genesis 4:17. Cain built the first city and named it Enoch. Genesis 4:17, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. It's listed in the Concordance, Hebrew Dictionary 2585 from 2596. Verse 18, and unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mahual, and Mahual begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech. And Lamech took unto him two wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. If you are familiar with the Genesis story and read the names, there is a similarity that makes it appear the line of Cain descends to Lamech, the father of Noah. Naturally, this is intentional. You're in hell, so what do you expect? The same for the name Lamech, the name of two antediluvian patriarchs. In the Cain genetics, there are no age numbers. In the Seth descent, the patriarchs' ages are recorded. In the Cain genetics, there are no age numbers. For example, the Enoch of the line of Seth from Genesis 5:18, quoting, and Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. All of the Seth lineage have numbers in years. Their names in Hebrew gematria total 3168, and in Greek this number is Lord 800, Jesus 888, and Christ 1480, totals 3168. This is why the launch of Apollo 11 was at 4:17 to line up with Enoch in Genesis 4:12. These people are idiots and think they can avoid Ison. So what is Ison? First, it is I and Son, the Father Yahweh, and Jesus. Now Seth lived 912 years. I was 9 pounds, 12 ounces, and 22 inches long when I was reborn into hell with you. Naturally, I was born into hell to get you out. It does not matter if you do not believe in me or not. It's all predetermined that few will, and those who do will be very few indeed. Enoch of the Seth line lived 365 years, and God took him. This is the same number as modern time based on the Gregorian calendar. But that was 500 AD or so. The calendar was established at 365 days. So in the days before the flood, the length of a year was 360 days for a year. Once the Great Pyramid was discovered to be divine about 400 years ago by the British, the base was set at 286.1 pyramid inches, less that 36524.24 pyramid inches, and became known as the Enoch Circle. The corners have sockets and the fine lines on them measure 36524.24. The clue here is the first layers of stone were moved inward to give a measure of 286.1 less. So it ended up being 36238.14 pyramid inches. So then we see the same number in the internal structure, all 286.1 pyramid inches off center, and so on. The clue again here is the great step in the grand gallery is a point to measure the horizontal line to the wall of the king's chamber, then from the center line of it, 286.1, to the coffer, and the central point under the apex, then add the ceiling height and then multiply by time, being the moon lunation of 29.53052 days, and it totals 31101, which is the Julian date I was reborn on, 24/3/1101, January the 11th, 1944. Now, I have been through all that many times. What this presentation is all about is Enoch. Enoch's period on the earth points to modern time of the end, after the Lord has made himself known and rejected by the masses. The pyramid was built before the flood. Enoch had been taken up and shown the heavens, returned to teach his children, and they handed down the knowledge. The Great Pyramid was built, and then Noah was told to build an ark. Why? This is revealed by Enoch in the book of Enoch that has been kept out of the Bible, to be made known in modern times that it was once in the Bible and then removed. Quoting, and Enoch lived 60 and 5 years and begat Methuselah, and Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 360 and 5 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years and begat a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Why is it necessary to kill all flesh? It's all in the book of Enoch. The angels were created as a watcher and helper to man. Man was created to be the lineage of Adam, who was made in the image of God. So close in appearance to a man, then 200 angels sinned. The story tells us the angels lusted after the women of man, not because they were attractive in the modern sense, but because their soul was made in the image of God. By producing offspring, they believed they could become like God via the image of God, the women. Their children were giants, literally, and as such had the characteristics of the evil angels, teaching the offspring how to kill the seed of purity, in the belief that if all good souls are murdered, then Yahweh would have to choose them to continue creation. Insane to say the least, the story seems so far-fetched to modern man it's a fairy tale. But is it? Did the flood happen or not? Seems like a fairy tale, right? Yet all people worldwide have a flood story in their ancient history. How can that be? All were dead. Not quite. Their souls reincarnate, and collectively souls have a spiritual connection. Some even mention the approach of Mars, even the giant volcano erupting when Mars collided with the Earth, rushing all of the water of Mars onto the Earth, raising the Earth's oceans at 168 feet. 1656 BC, the year of the flood. What does the number 1656 in Hebrew tell us? Rained upon. Another helicopter just went over. It's 9:30 a.m. in Rome. We had received a communication from a PR company on behalf of Pope Francis. It was dated December the 6th at our YouTube site. Our disciples have been relentlessly exposing his evil, arresting Pope Benedict XVI on April the 3rd, 2013. His crime was announcing to the world in an apostolic letter he had met Christ, the man who looks exactly like the image of God, Yahweh, burned into the burial cloth of Jesus, myself in 33 AD, at the moment of resurrection. Arrested and his staff missing, 2 murdered, the second being Giovanni Rossini, we presume has been murdered. He was certainly kidnapped along with the others. And the woman who was with the Pope for 20 years, Sister Maria Anna della Rosa, who sent us a letter only weeks ago that it was Archbishop George Ganswain who tricked her into opening the basement door under the papal office of His Holiness Pope Benedict XVI, when Dan Swain knocked on the door leading from the grounds. Francis asked for transparency in our communications, and that is what he got. The truth that his men had forced their way into the papal office in Castel Gandolfo near Rome, the summer residence of many former popes. So the transparency revealed the emails we have received from the papal office, as well as from his thugs in the days afterwards, when to tell us who they were, whom they worked for, and then close the Pope's account. These idiots used the same computer who murdered Father Giuseppe Civello, and we assume Monsignor Rossini. We told Francis we would be in Rome on Saturday the 14th, so that's yesterday now, until 10 p.m. tonight. This is Sunday the 15th, 2013. Our flight leaves at 10:25 this evening. I wanted to speak personally to Pope Francis and Pope Benedict XVI. Will Francis arrange a meeting and show up? No chance. The Vatican has been studying the stars for centuries. Their latest high-tech telescope on Mount Graham in Arizona is named Lucifer. Under St. Peter's Basilica are 23 or so rooms with all of the devils and idols worshipped in ancient times. One room has Lucifer riding a white horse. What do they see in space? Ison, and the dwarf sun with its 7 planets bringing my angels. Ison has a vast trail of meteors, meteorites, asteroids, gases, dust clouds. Some of these are huge, as big as the Earth. Just one of the billions could kill all life. This is why there are vast underground bunkers, thousands of kilometers of them. Here's a moment of perihelion with the Jesus numbers all over it. 8888, 008 kilometers. At some point, it would have been just a nanosecond before at 8888888 kilometers on its approach to the sun, and it's leaving the sun. The magnitude, minus 1.84. 84 is Emmanuel, God with us. It also the gematria for the name Marshall, the name of God today. In Hebrew it's Marshall, meaning parables. As Jesus, he said, he spoke in parables. One is for Alpha, the Father. So the elect go underground to avoid billions of rocks that will impact the earth, leaving you and your families who pay for these shelters to be burned to death. Ison flashed past the sun on November 28, 2013 at 1837 UTC, a distance of the Jesus number. The old wartime saying applies: a bullet has your name on it. In this case, the second destruction is going to target the reincarnated of the offspring of the 200 angels, which have been joined by the offspring of the women who they had mated with. We are talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. The timeline is 7 reincarnations. Time is up. That's why it is called the end of times. The end of what? The end of the time of reincarnation. And the date feared was when the solar system passed across the equatorial line of the Milky Way galaxy, which occurred at 11:11 a.m. December the 11th, 2011 Eastern Australia time. All time revolves around the rebirth date of the Christ, January the 1st, 1944, 2:22 a.m. into Sydney, Australia. So he is Father. Go back, I thought here we go, down the bottom, 3840 in Hebrew from 3835. Now bearing in mind, what does Pope Francis wear? He wears all white. And his offer to us in that comment left by the PR firm on December the 6th at our YouTube channel, Sword of Truth 3168, under the title of the video that was all about Ison, dated 9th of December. The offer was for transparency. He was offering transparency so that he could prove his innocence in the charges that we have laid at his feet. So here we have 3840, whiteness by implication and transparency. Hello, Francis dressed in all white, offering transparency in our communications. So that's what we gave him. 3840 in Greek, from 3946, from on all sides, on every side round about. That's what he was saying, on all sides to have transparency. Well, we've been transparent from the get-go, uploading everything we do. That's That's why we do, for the transparency's sake. Everything is recorded digitally and in print. It's all at the Scrib site, it's all in videos that have been uploaded for the sake of transparency. So this is something that the man in white has been offering us when we've been doing it all along. So we gave it to him. And we read the letter that Sister Maria Della Rosa was able to get to us. She was one of the ones kidnapped on that night. She describes exactly who the traitor is and what happened that night and who they were all working for. Now 3956 goes on, including all, now remember we're talking about Enoch and the 200 fallen angels. Keep that in mind. Including all the forms of declension, apparently a primary word, all, every, whole, all manner, daily, everyone, as many, thousand, whatsoever, whole, whatsoever. Declension, taken from Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. It is pure in all of its true meanings. All dictionaries, I would say, since then have been perverted and have just been whitewashed. And Noah, of course, that's what it's all about. Noah, meaning knowledge. So, declension, literally a leaning back or down, hence a fallen angels, or declining towards a worse state, a tendency towards a less degree of excellence or perfection. The declension of a state is manifested by corruption of morals. We speak of declension of virtue. Hello, there is no virtue in the world today. Of manners. What are they? Of taste, of the sciences. What sciences? Of the fine arts. This is what Hitler was fighting against, the declension of the fabric of society, thanks to the Jews who call themselves Jews and are not, deliberately poison all societies with, and sometimes of life or years. Now the word, this is me speaking here, the word describes the fallen angels who left their first estate of perfection in order to mate with the women of men. The result is reflected in the declension of mankind today. So their offspring, those made in their image, must be destroyed, this time with fire from our sun. Pope Francis has until 2000 hours. Today, Sunday the 15th of December 2013. That's the time we'll be leaving. The shuttle is booked. We leave for the airport. Our address again is Hotel Euro House Suites. We are in room 6A. It's a lovely room. Via Rima La Valle, number 11A. Hello, what is A1? So here we have another 111. The birth date, rebirth date of the Lord Jesus Christ, the 11th of January. Fiumicino, 004, Italy. There's the latitude and longitude. I've already looked it up. 41.77223 north, 12.24219 east. A telephone number, there's the country code, Italy, 3906650627. Just in case you've missed it from all of the hundreds of tweets by now that the saints have been alerting to Pope Francis through his Twitter and whatever way, whatever means is open to them. They have been tweeting him now for 2 days. This is Pope Francis can stop it all. He can stop it all. By announcing the returned Christ as Benedict did and meeting with the Christ while we're in Rome, he can stop the destruction. He can stop it all. Do you hear that, world? The ball is in the court of Pope Francis, who has known since March the 23rd, 2013, when Pope Benedict XVI told him that the Christ is returned and his new name of the Revelation and the name written that only he would know is Leonard Golightly Marshall, reborn to the earth on the most holy and sacred day, Benedict's words, of January 11th, 1944, and he is the Father this time, the soul, Yahweh, who was in Jesus, who went to the cross for all mankind. He is all grown up this time and pissed off. He is angrier than ever at the state of the world. What has been happening in Gaza, The Arab nations are an abomination, all of them. The most billionaires are throughout the Arab nations, and what do? They look after their own, or they supply arms to the rebels in Syria, fighting against the righteous Assad, as the children of Gaza and the children of Syria, the 4 million refugees now of Syria, are freezing as snow, 16 inches of snow has fallen in Jerusalem. The children of Gaza are freezing. They've had the power cut off to them and water now for months. And these wealthy Arab Muslim nations, you have no salvation, any of you Arab nations. And I would say that goes for Iran, who has sat by and done nothing. And what the hell is Russia doing? What good are words you could have sent in when the Christ said to send in 1 million men? You've got them? Send them in and flood Israel. They're all cowards anyway. But you've all sat back and done. There's no excuse. Ison will sort out who is who in the zoo. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so the invitation is there, Francis. Send in your boys dressed in black who beat up Pope Benedict, murdered Father Giuseppe Civello. We've got the record of it, the eyewitness account, and kidnapped a poor defenseless Sister Maria della Rosa, who got out and was able to send us a letter to tell exactly what went down that night. And then Monsignor Giovanni Rossini, he went too. He's probably dead. We haven't had a report to confirm it, but Sister Maria's word, given the situation he was in, more than likely. All happening on the 1980th anniversary of the crucifixion, which was April the 3rd, 2013. So read this world and weep. And then look to Francis, the man in white, asking for total transparency. Well, he's got it.